What's up, A to Z Sports live on a Thursday, talking Titans this morning and talking about a Titans bet on themselves that got exposed by an NFL insider in some of the latest NFL positional rankings. So Sam and I will go through what we have here about Bill Barnwell's rankings of NFL offensive skill positions in the NFL, where the Titans fall in that and what it means. And I think there's a bigger problem when we're even having this discussion is we don't even know who the players that are to rank. And that's going to be a fun conversation that Sam and I are going to have here on this Thursday. So we're going to ask you guys a very fun question. I think it'll set up for a great conversation. Who will the Titans' top 5 most impactful offensive skill players be at the end of the season? So we're going to put our prediction machines to the test. Who will be the Titans' top 5 most impactful offensive skill guys at the end of the year? And then yesterday, we talked about the Titans' strongest pro in their attempt to sign DeAndre Hopkins. And I forget who it was, but somebody was like, you guys won't do the con. I was like, okay, we'll do it. So we're going to do what is the biggest con for the Titans as they try to sign DeAndre Hopkins too. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling here, Sam, on a Thursday. It is a Thursday, which means the Magic Bucket, and you still have the Magic Bucket in your possession. So let's get it going here. Gonna have a good one.
Hey, let's do it. Before we kick things off, make sure you guys share the show. For those of you watching, if you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button in the bottom right corner of your little Facebook window there. If you're watching on YouTube, go up and take that link, then go to your text messages and just copy, paste it, find a football fan or a Titans fan in your life, or maybe a group chat, toss it in there and say, hey, check out A to Z Sports this morning. They're the best Titans show around. You guys got to watch this. Just get somebody else involved, get them in our chat, help them join the A to Z Sports family and join the conversation each and every morning. So however it is you're watching, you can also retweet us at A to Z Sports on Twitter. But however it is that you are watching, make sure you share the show before we go and kick things off here on a Thursday.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports, powered by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Sam Phelan, our Titans reporter at A2ZSports.com. We are Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show on our segment by segment on our Twitter timeline. That is at A2Z Sports. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more great Titans coverage. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by seeing them in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, better coverage rates and service at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping you safe online, and get a 2-week free trial for all of Aura services with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer in Middle Tennessee with 3 great locations in Murfreesboro, Franklin, and Columbia online, KrebsKubota.com. Sam, we do have some news to tease because I forgot to do this yesterday. And I'm going to do it now. So today's Thursday. Tomorrow is June 30th. There's nothing in the NFL that we're going to talk about on Friday morning, June 30th, as of right now, at least. So we are planning a special show tomorrow, Friday, June 30th, unless something happens that makes us pivot. But if nothing happens that doesn't make us pivot, Friday's show is all trivia, Sam. So it's Trivia Master Sam Phelan versus me, Zach, in the chat. And Sam is going to try to stump us all show long with a full trivia show tomorrow morning. So you're working on a bank of 25 questions and some Titans, some NFL, then non-sports that you have an opportunity to try to stump all of us. So it's all trivia, all show long. So this will be fun with the 3 of us, me, you, and Zach on here with the chat. So I'll let you talk about how excited you are about being trivia master for everybody.
This is my Super Bowl. We were sitting here thinking of show topic ideas that we could use over the offseason and conversations that we felt like would be fun to have. And I was sitting there and I said, guys, what if we let Trivia Master Sam out of his cage a little bit? So I've been cooking. I've been sitting on stathead.com. I've been trying to find every obscure Titan stat and every little thing that you maybe didn't know about the team. Find all these little loopholes so that I can stump everybody. I'm coming. I just got to get it out there. I'm coming strong tomorrow. I don't want questions that are Googleable. I don't want questions that everybody knows. I'm trying to break the system here and make everybody work together. So it's going to be good, fun, 25 question trivia that really tests everybody's knowledge of the Titans and the National Football League. So I'm pumped up.
Yeah, and so excuse me, I did see somebody asking. There will still be good news though. John says, still going to be a good news, or do you need to drop my good news today? Yeah, you can. We can still do some good news to send us out on the weekend. But yeah, gonna have a lot of fun with a full ass trivia show tomorrow. So yeah, it's slow, Clayton here. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with that tomorrow. So that's Friday morning, unless otherwise news happens. So Sam, on to our regular scheduled topic for today. The title of the show is "The Titans' Strange Bet on Themselves is Exposed by an NFL Insider," and that NFL Insider is no other than my favorite, Bill Barnwell, who sits in his dungeon, and Bill Barnwell comes up with lists and topics and all types of things there by himself in a dark space in his dungeon as we can talk NFL. So that is my version of Bill Barnwell. But Bill Barnwell does a really good job, all jokes aside. So he ranks the 32 skill position groups, and he has the Titans 29th. And his blurb to start off is any team thinner at the skill position spots than Tennessee? Second best wideout NWI, ranked 87th out of 97 wideouts in yards per route run last year. Titans' third wideout is Kyle Phillips, a fifth-round pick who had 8 catches last season. The second tight end is Trayvon Wesco or fifth-round rookie Josh Wiley. And the primary running backup is rookie Tajay Spears, who's 5'9" and reportedly might be missing an ACL in one of his knees. These guys are all going to need to play, in some cases, regularly in 2023. So, Sam, that is where Bill Barnwell has the Titans skill positions ranked. They're 4th worst in the NFL. And so when he went through all this, he did have some parameters. It's the top 5 skill position players on each team. He weighs receivers more than running backs. And so obviously with Derrick Henry being the best running back in the game, that is why the Titans are so much further down, because there's always going to be more receivers on the field than running backs on the field in the NFL. And so the Titans get dinged for that. And so, 29th overall. So, Sam, I'll kind of let you respond to what Bill Barnwell has the Titans at this season, 29th out of 32 for the NFL offensive skill players.
Yeah, I mean, he really didn't hold back, and it's hard to disagree with anything that he said. Anybody that's in this Titans offense as a skill position player, really outside of Burks or Chig, does have a negative or like a drawback to them. I mean, Derrick Henry's still going to get his. He's Derrick Henry at the end of the day. But, there are, age concerns about, can Derrick play on third down? And how is he in that area of being a runner? So, I mean, there are some negatives there. But, yeah, I mean, Tajay Spears, we might love Tajay Spears. The knee's concerning. Kyle Phillips, as much as we might love Kyle Phillips, he was a 6th-round pick or 5th-round pick, whatever it was. So, these aren't the premier young offensive weapons that they might seem like they are. But part of that's because they're with the Titans, and there's not too many other great options right now. So I don't really have an issue with what he said. I'm pulling it up right now. You sent me the teams directly in front of them as well. I mean, Houston, Carolina, Arizona are the 3 teams ranked below the Titans. Teams right ahead of the Titans are Green Bay, the New York Giants, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts, the Denver Broncos, the LA Rams. I would have a very hard time arguing for the Titans skill players to be above any of those teams. So I think he got it right at 29. I mean, do you think any of those teams ranked above Tennessee should be below them?
I think when you look at the Packers, who are directly ahead of the Titans, the Packers have 2 running backs that you feel pretty good about, with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And then Christian Watson and Treylon Burks are kind of, Spider-Man meme, right? Same second year guy with high expectations that needs to really step up. So, I don't necessarily think that's a battle I'm trying to fight here. The Giants are right above the Packers. Saquon Barkley, yeah, but they also got Darren Waller as a tight end. And then I could maybe argue the Giants versus the Titans to an extent.
It probably depends what Jalen Hyatt is.
Yeah, now you're talking about a third-round rookie that had a lot of negative offensive scheme notes or dings on him coming out of the draft. And, I don't necessarily think those are all valid, but he's got a learning curve there. So, I do think I'm not trying to, and Chris adds the Giants just have a bunch of slot receivers because they got Darius Slayton, they've got Wan'Dale Robinson, now they got Jalen Hyatt. And who the hell is going to play on the outside? Darren Waller? I mean, maybe. He might as well just be a number one wideout because he's not going to block anybody. So I'm not trying to sit here and argue semantics on that. I think that we all know the Titans skill position players are very thin and they're all not great outside of Derrick Henry. And we think Burks and Chig can make big steps, but we don't know yet for a fact. And so that's where I'm going to kind of expand a little bit on the bet on themselves, is that the Tennessee Titans are betting on themselves and their player and scouting evaluation over the last couple of years. That's John Robinson and Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel all put in one pot, blended up, and saying, here's the guys we got, and here's the guys that we need to have make plays for us. And gambling is gambling. And, I lost yesterday on the Major League Baseball on a 2-game parlay, and that sucks, but that's okay. But I lived to play another day.
Don't even get.
But again, so the Tennessee Titans are gambling on Treylon Burks having a massive second year with Chigakonkwo, Kyle Phillips staying healthy, and Derrick Henry still being Derrick Henry. And then a couple rookies are going to have some roles in Tajay Spears and Josh Wiley. And so you've got a really young group here outside of Derrick that you cannot count on. And so it could pay off, because if it works, then you got a really good, cheap, young core of players that can make plays. If it doesn't work, then what?
Well, you're right. They're gambling because they opted. They brought in Chris Moore, who, at best is a swap for Robert Woods, like an even trade for Robert Woods, I think is really what you're getting out of Chris Moore. You didn't do anything in the draft outside of Colton Dowell in the 7th round for a pass catcher, at least. Josh Wiley is a backup tight end. Tajay Spears is a backup running back, but you're going young. So is it a bet? Yeah, it's absolutely a bet. The problem I have, Austin, is that this is a 6-leg parlay, because like that's the kind of bet the Titans are rolling with here. They don't have any room for any one of these different legs to not hit. They don't have much depth at wide receiver at all beyond Treylon Burks. Like, if Treylon Burks goes down and you're looking at a Chris Moore, Kyle Phillips, Nick Westbrook, Akine wide receiver core, that's bad. And I like Kyle Phillips. I think he can be pretty good this year, but you don't have a lot of depth there. You absolutely need Chig. You absolutely need Derrick. You absolutely need Tajay Spears, because if you don't have Tajay Spears, who is your third down back / pass catching back that can, be the Dontrell Hilliard substitute? Now you're forced going with like Jonathan Ward in that position, because Hassan Haskins is, really more Derrick Henry than he is anything else. So it's a 5-6 leg parlay, and they can't lose a leg. Otherwise they're going to lose the bet this season.
Yep.
And that's what makes me nervous about this group. Is there a world, like you mentioned, where every leg hits and the Titans hit the lottery and they get a huge profit margin and a super young team to go with it? Yeah, it's out there, but it's plus odds, that's for sure.
So let's ask this question here, Sam, because we've got, the skill position, right? And we see Bill Barnwell's rankings. And I agree with your 6-leg parlay comment. I think that's a great analogy for what the Titans are doing here with their bet. And so Bill Barnwell has his rankings, and he talks about using the top 5 players at those positions. And Sam, you and I this morning were like, who are the top 5? I think we know 3 of them, but who are the top 5? So let's ask that question here because it's Derrick Henry, it's Treylon Burks, it's Chigakonkwo. Those are the top 3. Who are the other spots? So our question right now to everybody in the chat is, who will be the Titans' top 5 most impactful offensive skill players at the end of the season? So we're putting our prediction hats on. Who will be the Titans' top 5 most impactful skill players at the season's end? But first, let me tell you guys all about our friends at Aura, who are keeping you safe online. And you can use the Aura app and get 2 free weeks with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. So go to that link, aura.com/ATOZ, for a 2-week free trial to get rid of data brokers and scammers and spam mail and junk mail out of your life, from your mailbox, your email, or your phone, right there with Aura, because they've done that for me. They've done that with Sam, Zach. Many people in A to Z have signed up with Aura, and we're also reaping the benefits of that too. And they've also got a lot more than just the data broker removal from your life. They've got password manager, VPN, identity credit, and theft monitoring as well. So check out Aura and download the app, but use our link first, aura.com/ATOZ. That gives you a 2-week free trial, aura.com/ATOZ.
Today's show is powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports on the BetMGM app, and you can get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. The best way to do sports gambling is when the risk is limited and you can get your money back. That's exactly what BetMGM is offering. So place that first wager, use the bonus code ATOZ Sports, and even if your bet loses, you can get your money back up to $1,000 in the form of a bonus bet. Make every game and every play mean more with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com.
All right, Sam. So once again, Bill Barnwell ranks the Titans skill positions 29th out of 32. And he leads off with, is any team thinner at the skill position spots in Tennessee? And then goes into NWI, Kyle Phillips, Trayvon Wesco, Josh Wiley, Tajay Spears, all will have to have some type of impact and role. But we all know that the top 3 guys here are Derrick Henry, Treylon Burks, and Chigakonkwo. And I think everybody feels pretty good about what you think you can get out of these 3 guys. But you have to line up with 2 other skill position players on the football field, or you're going to get an illegal formation. And so that means another receiver or 2, another tight end, another running back has to rise to the occasion. So who will be the Titans' top 5 offensive skill players in their impact after the season's over? So, Sam, I'll let you go to the chat first to see what the people are saying.
Yeah, we're doing this given, right? We're doing the given of Burks, Henry, and Jake. So we're looking for those other 2, really. But I see a lot of good answers here. Titans Kyle has Tajay Spears and Chris Moore as his 2 to join with that group. Jared Hicks says Chig, Phillips, Burks, Ryan Tannehill, Spears.
Ryan Tannehill is not involved unless he's going Texas A&M wide receiver. Like, Ryan Tannehill does not count. Quarterback does not count.
Yeah, but surprising from Jared, he's got Phillips all the way up there too, and I don't see Derrick Henry on that list. So
strange,
kind of
Jared.
An interesting one there. We're getting a lot of Ryan Tannehill, but yeah, again, Ryan Tannehill does not count. Eric says it's Henry, Chig, Burks, Moore, and Josh Wiley. Chris Moore and Josh Wiley is what Eric says. Bork says it is Moore and Racey McMath. No Henry in Bork's list. So I don't know where that's coming from. No Derrick Henry, but count Racey McMath in if you're Bork, I guess.
Why are people leaving out Derrick Henry?
Maybe he's trolling.
Did we stump people with this question?
I don't know. Matt says it's Spears, Henry, Chig, Treylon, and Hopkins. Throwing DeAndre Hopkins in there. Yuri says it's Henry, Spears, Burks, Phillips, and Chig. So Phillips and Spears are the 2 that he adds to the group. Let's see. Jake says it Tannehill, but says following him, it's Derek, Burks, Chig, and NWI. Clayton says it's Hopkins, Henry, Burks, Chig, Mason Kinsey with the future bet is what Clayton's got going on. Caleb has Henry, Chig, and Burks, Hopkins, and Spears. Let's see. We got Landon says it's Phillips and Spears. An impactful change of pace back is something that's been a long time coming from Landon. Pastor Raymond says it's Henry, Chig, and Burks with Spears and Moore. I see a lot of Tajay Spears involved.
Mm-hmm.
Devin has Spears with Kyle Phillips in with that group of 3. So is it safe to throw Tajay Spears in there, Austin? Well, who are your 2 that you're adding to this group? Can we clarify? You and I
Yeah.
both have Derrick Henry, Traylon Burks, and Chig in our top 5 because I'm
Yes.
kind of stunned to see Derrick left off a lot of lists.
Yeah. Man. And so Ben says these are all horrible answers. LOL. Well, I mean, that's kind of what the Titans have. It's kind of what I said about the offensive line, Stan.
There's not a group of 5 that you're going to feel great about.
No.
I mean,
unless you're throwing DeAndre Hopkins in there, which I don't think is the right thing to do. Okay, so here's my other 2, right? Because again, I think operating under the assumption that these 3 guys, Henry, Burks, and Chig, will all be 1, 2, and 3 in whatever particular order. I think Henry is going to be 1. I think Burks needs to be 2, and Chig needs to be 3. If you're talking about the best case scenario, I think the other best case scenario is that I don't think you can have Kyle Phillips and Tajay Spears at 4 and 5. I think there is a little bit of redundancy in their roles, which is a running back and a wide receiver. So I think that's interesting. So when you're talking about most impactful, that means catching the football, gaining yards, scoring touchdowns, creating first downs. I don't think a second tight end is going to fit here either. If you go back and look at the Titans' second tight ends, last year was kind of the anomaly because it was Austin Hooper and Chig that were pretty equal in production. But before that, you only had one tight end catching the lion's share of the targets from that group, and then the others were used in the blocking game a lot more often. So, Sam, my official answer to go along with Henry, Burks, and Chig, I think 4th on this list is Nick Westbrook-Akine. And I think 5th on this list is Tajay Spears. And I think Tajay Spears, because of his multiplicity, one of Mike Vrabel's favorite words in his 5+ years as Titans head coach, his multiplicity of being a runner and a pass catcher and being a player that they can line up in a bunch of different spots puts him over Kyle Phillips, who would probably be my number 6. But that's kind of, so my top 5 to reiterate, I've got Henry, Burks, Chig. Number 4, I'm going to put NWI. And number 5, I'm going to put Tajay Spears. And Sam, before you get to your answers, I would like for you to dissect mine. And maybe if you have any follow-up questions, I'm down to kind of defend.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I'm coming so this to you as well is the best case scenario is the world where NWI is 4 and Tajay Spears is 5. Do I have that correct?
I think, the best case scenario is that Henry's 1, Burks is 2, and Chig is 3. That's kind of where my best case scenario is. I think I
think you could argue Traylon being 1 would be a best case scenario.
But I also understand that they're not going to just completely go away from Derrick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think why I have NWI 4th is because I kind of feel like the most likely scenario is that NWI is going to play maybe double the amount of snaps than Kyle Phillips. I just think he's on the field a lot more. That's kind of my.
I think you're overlooking Kyle Phillips a lot in that assessment. I think that's a major overlooking of Kyle Phillips because I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world, but I do think people are pretty quick to forget how impactful Kyle Phillips was on pace to be in the offense last year before the injury. I mean, you were with me at training camp last year, and we saw how Kyle Phillips was Ryan Tannehill's go-to. Like, that was the guy that he trusted really above everybody else, given Traylon's issues. I mean, Robert Woods was kind of there as like a veteran that, he would throw to sometimes. And he started to develop some rapport with the tight ends later into the season. But Kyle Phillips was the guy for Ryan Tannehill. We saw that in week 1. We saw that with the game on the line in week 1 against the Giants. And I think the injury and his not being 100% for the rest of the season quickly made people forget just how much the Titans wanted to incorporate him in their looks and in their first team. So I think NWI is going to be on the field, but I think his targets are very limited. His impact is very limited. And
Yeah.
I would definitely take Kyle Phillips over NWI. I
Okay.
don't I don't know. I'm just curious. So this is your prediction, because the question, right,
Yeah.
is prediction for who is the most impactful. What would your best case scenario be? Because that's a different, I think it's an interesting, like, different type of question here.
Okay. Yeah, fair. My best case scenario. Let me think. My best case scenario. All right. Tell me about the Bone and Joint Institute, and I'll bring you back with my best case scenario.
Well,
Because
you think
I got to
about
truly
that.
dive
So
into this.
I see the chat kind of ripping on Kyle. I think Mr. Jones is calling him fragile and all this stuff. Well, I think I have the hack for Kyle Phillips to stay healthy this season. It's
Okay.
the Bone and Joint Institute, because if he gets hurt, he can go to the Bone and Joint Institute. They will not fumble on his recovery or your recovery. They're who you can trust whenever you get hurt in life. You can visit them at boneandjointtn.org. They're the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. They have a great team to help your recovery from any type of injury, and a state-of-the-art rehab facility out in Franklin. And it's all under one roof for the maximum convenience. You're not driving all over Middle Tennessee trying to make your different appointments. You can go to clinic, testing, rehab, imaging, surgery, all in the same spot. That's the Bone and Joint Institute's campus out in Franklin. And visit our friends at boneandjointtn.org to schedule an appointment.
All right. Also with BetMGM, the first bet offer, you can't beat this. Up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses, but only after you sign up with BetMGM with our bonus code ATOZ Sports. So check that out with ATOZ Sports, up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. So Sam, you've asked me what is my best case scenario for the top 5 skill position players are most impactful, right? Most impactful, because I think we know the 3. So my predictive top 5 were these 3: Henry, Burks, Chig, plus NWI and Tajay Spears. I left Kyle Phillips out. Now, the best case scenario, NWI is not involved. Tajay Spears is involved. And then, yeah, I would say Kyle Phillips is probably in that top 5 with Spears. There is a world, and maybe in my best case scenario, I think Josh Wiley could be 6th. And then NWI keeps getting moved back. But we're still sitting here going, like, that's still one outside receiver. You know,
Well,
in my best case scenario, you've got a lead running back and a backup running back. Then you've got a lead tight end and a lead receiver and a slot guy, and then a backup tight end to fill it out. You still don't have another outside receiver, which is where I feel like the Titans base is still going to be a 2 wide receiver set. And I just don't see Kyle Phillips getting as much volume of opportunities as a guy like NWI or maybe even Chris Moore if that arises.
So I think Chris Moore has a better shot of being in this top 5 than NWI does. If I was going based off of kind of like the logic that you're using of just who's going to get opportunity, I think Chris Moore is the more impactful receiving option and will get more opportunities as a pass catcher than NWI will right now. I don't have either of them in my list. My honest answer of what I think involves DeAndre Hopkins in the top 5, not as like a best case scenario, that if I was predicting who the Titans leading receiver is right now, I'd probably place a bet on DeAndre Hopkins, because maybe Treylon Burks is the better value there. But I still am kind of leaning towards him winding up in Nashville as things currently sit. We'll see how the next few weeks plays out. But if we're taking him off the table, I do think it has to be Tajay Spears and Kyle Phillips rounding out that top 5. I don't really understand. This is another point that you made about how their roles are similar. I don't think they're going to do the same things in this offense at all. I see Tajay Spears as more of the Dontrell Hilliard guy who can be the nice change of pace back, be a third down back, pass protector, pass catching running back out of the backfield and in the screen game, but also be on the field at the same time as Derrick Henry to maybe be a little bit of a decoy and create space for 22 to run between the tackles. Kyle Phillips, I think, is out there to go hunt first downs. He's there to go find the chains, sit down, have reliable hands, and create separation that makes Ryan Tannehill's job a little bit easier. Treylon Burks is your guy trying to make plays down the field. Maybe Chris Moore or NWI is your technician on the outside. But I think Kyle Phillips is your guy over the middle. That is your safety outlet, regularly. And I think there's a very big difference in what he's going to do and what Tajay Spears is going to do. And I do think there's a world, and probably in the best Titans offense possible in 2023, they coexist on the same field together and both are successful.
So you think what's the situation if Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears, and Kyle Phillips are all on the field together?
Third down.
Third down and what?
Anything more than third down and 3. I mean, I think your third downs, you're going to want to have, maybe Derrick's not always out there, but you're going to want to have a running back out of the backfield who can catch passes, who can pass protect, who can, force linebackers out wide if he comes out on a screen route, on a flat route, on a wheel route, whatever it is. And that creates space for a guy like Kyle Phillips, who's very good at stopping on a dime, finding the hole in the defense and picking up first down. So I would have all 3 of those guys on the field on some third downs. I think having Tajay Spears out there, like Derrick was kind of dangerous. Some of his best plays last year were out of the screen game when you didn't make him make a play as a pass catcher. You threw it to him, you let him catch the ball looking uncoordinated, and you gave him a few steps running downhill, and it's over after that. So how can Tajay Spears maybe command some attention from that second level of the defense, allow Derrick to sneak away, maybe make some plays as in the screen game? Like, there's a lot of facets of this offense that you add having those 2 guys together. If they're not both out there, I think you become more one-dimensional.
Yeah, I just, that's a lot of, it's a lot of, having those 3 guys on the field, I think is more specific situations than it is norm. That's where I still feel like until NWI is not.
Why wouldn't it be the norm though? Like what would prevent you from doing that normally? I think if there's somebody in that group that's not out there normally, it's Tajay Spears, not Kyle Phillips, because, Derrick is going to be your bell cow regardless of, how good Tajay is or looks. They'll still use him. But I think the more likely scenario is a world where Derrick Henry's in your backfield. Your wide receivers are Treylon Burks, NWI, Kyle Phillips, or Chris Moore, Kyle Phillips. And then you have Chig and Josh Wiley out there as tight ends.
Too many people.
Why is that too many people?
You named 3 receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back.
I mean, too many people for this exercise.
And that's too many people on the field.
Well, but you can use Trayvon Wesco and,
But that's 2 tight ends. You said 2 tight ends, 3 receivers, and a running back. That's 6. You got 12 guys in the field.
I think you can do Burks and Phillips with the 2 tight ends and Henry. I think that's something that they'll go to.
I think the only way Kyle Phillips truly cracks into a starting spot is if Trayvon Wesco or Josh Wiley solidify themselves as a reliable blocking tight end.
Trayvon Wesco is.
But I'm talking about establish themselves as a very reliable piece, because we didn't see Wesco at all really throughout. I'm talking about that are like your starters are then Burks, Phillips, Chig,
Trayvon Wesco's or Jeff Swain. Because
but I want him to be a lot better than that. He's got to be a lot better.
He has historically been. I mean, he's not some rookie. Like he was one of the better blocking tight ends in the league last year with Chicago. He was the same guy with the Jets before.
But my whole point is, I think the only way you can have Phillips as a number 2 receiver is if you have the 2 tight ends out there, because now Chig can also flex out, and now you can have a 3 receiver look with 2 tight ends strength. So that is another best case scenario of, groupings and units, personnel units, that I think you really need to have happen, is that second tight end to really lock themselves in as a top reliable player that can block for you and also help in the passing game.
I mean, if we are talking, if we're talking impact and assuming people are healthy, health is, I don't know if we were supposed to account for health in our list or not, but
yeah, we're predicting, right? It's at the end of the year, who are the top 5 most impactful skill players, and that's why I think I put NWI in that and not Phillips.
I have a hard time seeing that. I have a hard time seeing NWI being more impactful than Phillips this year.
Let's see. Jake says Wesco's got 8 catches in 4 years. Andre says Wesco has 10 catches.
He's not supposed to have catches.
No, but you've got
no, I'm saying this for the chat. I know you know this.
Yeah.
Trayvon Wesco will not catch passes for the Titans. He's an extension of your offensive line, but he's an ultra athletic left tackle because he's a tight end or right tackle or wherever side you need the help on. And he's one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL. That is all he can do, which is why you don't know his name, which is why you've never heard him drafted in your fantasy football league, which is why it's kind of amusing. And I don't even necessarily consider him a skill position player because he doesn't do the skill part.
Yeah.
But he can block.
And so it's kind of like 2 separate conversations, because the exercise we're doing here of top 5 most impactful, we're talking more about catches, yards, converting first downs, scoring points, where Trayvon Wesco's, that's not his role, right? But Trayvon Wesco's going to get a lot of snaps because he can block.
Because he can block, and they run the football. But when did I say he was going to be on the field in second and third medium? I think it's between him and Josh Wiley to earn that second tight end spot. I think when they need to pick up yards and they want to pass the ball, it'll be Wiley. Like if they're going to run with 2 tight ends, I think if they're trying to run the ball, between the tackles or, set outside zone to Derrick Henry, they're going to have Trayvon Wesco out there and not Josh Wiley. So I didn't say he was going to be on the field in second and third and medium. I think you got to have Phillips, Spears, and Henry all out there.
Yeah. Noah comes in with a super chat, says best case scenario is Racing McMath becomes somewhat of a deep threat and Kyle Phillips becomes Cooper Kupp light. I mean, that's asking a lot. Like Sam already placed a 6-leg parlay earlier about this. What is that? That is like betting the, that's like a missing the playoffs team to win it all the following year.
You're taking I don't even know. You're taking Indy to win the Super Bowl this year. Like with that one,
that's the Titans.
You're taking some major plus odds on that one. That's a Hail Mary right there.
Yeah, and then Jake says, Sam, you're playing favorites. Vrabel does not care about favorites. NWI is the wide receiver 2 in this offense. And at the end of the day, if the Titans do get Hopkins, I guarantee NWI is the first receiver in the field after Hopkins and Burks. I mean, I think the
Titans told you what they thought about NWI when they released it, or they let him walk so that they could sign him back for less money. I think Mike Vrabel enjoys him because he shows up to work every day, knows where he needs to be, and knows what's expected of him. I don't think the Titans like him enough that there's a given that NWI is earning snaps or targets or either one. I think he is their old reliable if all else fails, but I don't think he's the best option in their eyes either, or the ideal option in their eyes. So, like I said, I still think I would take Chris Moore as the wide receiver 2 over Nick Westbrook-Ikine if you're talking about impact in the passing game.
I just think NWI is going to survive another ridiculous earthquake.
He'll be around and he'll play some snaps. His impact is minimal as far as being an actual playmaker is concerned. So I can't put a guy with minimal impact as a playmaker above Spears, above Phillips, above these guys who I think should be and will be regular parts of the Titans offensive strategy.
Yeah, look, I like this conversation. Michael says no Colton Dowell hype. Not compared to the other guys.
Yeah, it's not an anti-Colton Dowell thing. It's more of a realization that he's a 7th-round rookie. And, 7th-round rookie wide receivers are rarely impactful in year one, especially when they don't fit in with a specific niche. Like a guy like Kyle Phillips could have been drafted in the 7th round last year and still carved out a role for himself in the Titans offense because what he does well was something that they needed and something they don't necessarily have. Colton Dowell is, a big wide receiver with a good frame, but, unpolished skills. So I don't think it's an anti-Colton Dowell thing. It's more of just acknowledgement that, hey, he's a 7th rounder who has a long way to go before he's seeing regular snaps.
Yeah. Brandon says NWI is soft. He's not soft. I think that's
he's not soft.
It's very unfair for somebody to call NWI soft because allegedly he played
Always
through a
around.
knee. Yeah, he played through a knee injury like last year and was the only guy that didn't have games that he missed.
One of his best attribute, probably his best attribute, is just the general blanket word of reliability. Like his ability to be out there, to know where he's supposed to be in the right spot, run the right route, make the right block, be tough, be physical, play through injury. Those are the things that Nick Westbrook-Akine does. Those are the things that you have to do as an undrafted free agent wide receiver out of Indiana to make it in the National Football League. And he's done a tremendous job carving out a very successful, very fruitful career for himself. There are limits to what he is able to do, but I would never call him soft. That's not something.
You can call NWI a bunch of different things, but soft is absolutely not one of them. So I will not let that go unnoticed. All right, so let's ask this question because I believe it was Marvin yesterday as we asked the question, what is the Titans' biggest pro or strongest pro in their pro-con column list for DeAndre Hopkins? He said, you guys won't do the con. Here we are. What is the Titans' biggest con for trying to sign DeAndre Hopkins? So this is in the mind of DeAndre Hopkins. In the mind of DeAndre Hopkins, you have your yellow legal pad. You draw a line down the center. You got pros on the left, cons on the right. Yesterday, I put on the pro side the coaching of Vrabel and of Tim Kelly. And Sam, you added the pro of opportunity for target share, right? So now let's flip it to the right side of the column. What is the biggest con in the Titans trying to sign DeAndre Hopkins? I'll tell you what has no cons, and that is Farm Bureau health plans, all pros, baby, because they've been serving Tennesseans for the last 75 plus years across the entire state, 200 plus locations from corner to corner, county to county. Farm Bureau health plans has you covered for health, dental, and vision in whatever situation that you might be in. Farm Bureau health plans can help you out. Zach has now been a part of the Farm Bureau health plan family for a year and a half. He's saved a lot of money, 20% every month from his previous plan. Now it's just the new norm for Zach. So he got to go budget that somewhere else. So they also have great service, better coverage for that lower rate. So check them out, whatever your situation may be, growing family, more mature family, maybe you're empty nested, maybe you're headed towards that next level in life of maturity and you need that extra care for you as well. Or you're a young professional trying to make it out in this world. Farm Bureau health plans can do it all. FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Make every game and every play mean more with BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports on the BetMGM app or BetMGM.com and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Look, I had a tough day yesterday with Major League Baseball betting on BetMGM, and how badly I wish I could still get this first bet offer with them and punch in the bonus code ATOZ Sports. But you can if you don't have the BetMGM app. There's nothing better than being able to place a sports bet knowing that you can't lose, knowing that you can get your money back even if things go south. So do it with BetMGM. Use the code. It's ATOZ Sports on the king of sportsbooks and BetMGM.com.
All right, so the question we're asking, what is the Titans' biggest con for trying to sign DeAndre Hopkins? What is the Titans' biggest con for trying to sign DeAndre Hopkins. So, Ed says Hopkins loves country music. We're not talking about from the Titans standpoint. We're talking about from the D-Hop standpoint, because DeMarco says age, the only con, but not really. So that's also from the Titans standpoint. But if you are DeAndre Hopkins, what is the negative?
You're making your decision like we were talking about yesterday. You got a big decision to make, what team to play for, and you're making your pros and cons list, and you're saying, well, Tennessee, they've got targets that they can send me, and you're making all your pros. Well, what is that big con that you're putting a star next to when thinking about the Titans?
All right, you want to go to the chat? I see was making a Nicolas Cage Con Air joke, but Sam, I'll send you to the chat to see what everybody's saying.
Jonathan says Ryan Tannehill. Aaron says Derrick Henry. And Mark says it is the offensive scheme. We've got not a pass-first team. No solidified future in regards to quarterback from Cameron Strong. Interesting one, because I don't know if either one of us got the sense that this would be a long-term deal, but if he was hoping for a long-term deal in a secure situation, certainly the one-year deal on Tannehill is concerning there. We've got winning team, the Titans not being winning team. Aaron Georgia asks a question. If Tanny goes down, how will I get the ball? Which is
I mean, that's everybody. If Deshaun Watson goes down, who's going to throw him the ball in Cleveland?
Yeah, but you saw it last. I mean, Jacoby Brissett can hang in there, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, he is absolutely one of the higher level backups. But again, like any receivers, like dreading their quarterback going down.
Fair, but I mean, and he dealt with it last year. But
I mean, if you're in New England, oh man, I got Mac Jones.
You got Zappy time.
What happened?
Don't worry, be Zappy. Don't worry, be Zappy, baby. Come on now.
Get the heck out. So keep going with these comments before we
listen. He dealt with this last year. Kyler Murray went down for him. He had Colt McCoy and had Trace McSorley for a game. He still got his numbers though. So I guess that says something about D-Hop if you can get numbers with Trace McSorley throwing you the football.
Scott says Jacoby Brissett is no longer with the Browns. Maybe I don't know. I don't follow I thought he was still
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Josh Dobbs, and I think they have somebody else because I don't think Dobbs is the backup.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Keep going with comments.
All right. Well, the con is cap space / his contract from Matt. Steven says the below average weapons around him. We've got small market, no chance at a Super Bowl.
Commanders for Brissett, by the way.
We'll check who the backup is in Cleveland while I'm at it. Well, just do the whole research thing. Titans are a run-first team with Derrick Henry from Brent. Chances for playing for a serious competitor slim as a Titan. Let's see, the injuries and the lack of medical people who actually know something. Billy Jones, just with a dollar sign, says the money. That's what Dadson's saying as well, is the money. Tannehill, new offensive coordinator, no receivers, new O-line, poor coaching, a lot of them. Well, no new OC. It's not a new OC for him. He has experience with Tim Kelly.
Deshaun Watson, Josh Dobbs, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Texas A&M's finest Kellen Mond.
So I guess Josh Dobbs is the backup, at least for now. Good for Josh Dobbs. Let's see. Ryan, interception king Tannehill from Nate's burner. Receivers go to the Titans for their careers to die is a con. The con is a run first team from Paulie D. So I think we got receivers required to block, says Raymond. I think those are the two that we're seeing the most is the run first scheme / receivers being asked to block. And surprisingly, Ryan Tannehill as one of the biggest cons, which I feel like is a big plus for the Titans, is having a veteran that is consistent and established like Ryan Tannehill, because I look at the other teams and I say rookie and Bryce Young, big problem in Mac Jones that I don't know what is going to happen there. Waiting for that situation to implode. And inconsistency because they benched him for Bailey Zappi last year. And then, Deshaun Watson, probably the highest ceiling of any of these quarterbacks, but still has to prove that he can go back to 2020 Deshaun Watson. Before we have a lot of faith in him. So Ryan Tannehill is the most stable quarterback situation there is of the current suitors.
Well, I think Deshaun Watson probably ranks ahead of Tannehill just because of the familiarity and the success that the two have had for D-Hop. But I think, yeah, Ryan Tannehill is not the biggest con whatsoever. To me, it's philosophy perception. Because I do think, because what was my biggest pro was the coaches, is that Vrabel and Tim Kelly know how DeAndre Hopkins was used to become an all-pro receiver. And there were a couple years there where DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs were like, who's the number one dude in the game? And D-Hop was in the conversation for a couple of years there. And so Tim Kelly was on that staff. Vrabel was on the staff to an extent. They've seen it, but the perception of the philosophy of run first is, I think, the biggest con, because I think Tim Kelly's changing stuff up, but he's not going to ever override what Mike Vrabel thinks is the winning formula in the NFL. More rushing yards, better QBR than the other team, and win the turnover battle. Those three things, winning formula for Mike Vrabel. And so they're always going to run the damn ball. And especially with Derrick Henry having a $16 million cap hit in the last year of his deal, you got to squeeze everything you can out of that. But I think the philosophy perception is the biggest con for the Titans in the D-Hop mind.
I struggled going back and forth with that one. I don't think I'm going to pick that, though, because I do believe that if DeAndre Hopkins is a Tennessee Titan this fall, the targets will find him. Like my plus of, the targets that the Titans have to offer him, I think those are going to come his way. And if I'm D-Hop, I don't really care if we're running the ball as long as I'm getting mine. I think the Titans' run first philosophy last year was extra. You saw it a little bit more prevalent because the wide receiving options were as bad as they were. And you really didn't have much outside. I mean, Treylon Burks, whenever he was off the field, you didn't have anything besides Robert Woods, who was underwhelming to say the least. And you hear a guy like Robert Woods have frustration with, well, I just want to pass the ball more. Hopefully it makes us pass the ball more. But at the end of the day, you have to work with the personnel that you got. And you do have Derrick Henry. I think the Titans are more open to throwing the ball and pushing the ball down the field than we saw them last season if they have Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins on the same team and on the field at the same time. And I think the targets will be there for Hopkins. So for me, the biggest con is that week one, you can't win a Super Bowl with the Tennessee Titans, and you probably can't win a playoff game. If I'm DeAndre Hopkins and you're being realistic about the situation, you have more competition to win. I think my chances are better to make the playoffs with Carolina. I think my chances to win playoff games is better with Cleveland. I think if Buffalo or Kansas City enter the chat, that becomes really interesting. And I'm not sure how heavily the Super Bowl or contention will weigh on him. Like I've said, I think that's the least of his concerns, and he needs to be focused on the targets and the coaching and the quarterback situation, all of those things, which is why I said earlier, I like the Titans' chances. But I think if he's circling one thing that makes him a little uneasy about Tennessee, it is a clear cap on this roster and what's capable, what this roster is capable of this season. Like best case scenario, you win the South and you're in a loaded AFC playoffs. I don't know if that's necessarily what he wants.
All right. So the one thing I'm going to push back on with your opinion there, but real quick, Krebs Kubota, no pushing back on this, just pushing forward as your best equipment provider in all of Middle Tennessee. Krebs Kubota, an elite equipment dealer for Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer as well, with 3 locations across the mid-state, Murfreesboro, Franklin, and Columbia. So check them out for any of your equipment needs. KrebsKubota.com, big or small. If you need to bale hay, boom, they got you. If you need other power units around your property out there in Middle Tennessee, they got you as well, and they've got the customer service to provide it. Maybe you just need a mower. Maybe you got a tricky yard. You got a hill, you got a ditch, you got something you got to deal with your mower and trimmer. they've got the small stuff as well. And for no sweat, they are fantastic people and so smart when it comes to helping you out and getting you in the right situation. Check them out, KrebsKubota.com.
Today's show powered by BetMGM. BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. That's the way to do sports betting. So visit betmgm.com, place that first wager with the bonus code ATOZ Sports. And even if it loses, you can get your money back in the form of a bonus bet up to $1,000. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only, new customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
I will say, Sam, you're getting pretty quick with that disclaimer there. More reps is helping you out there.
Sometimes I just like to take it easy. I'm going into it and I'm trying to rattle off. And I'm like, nah, we'll take it easy today. But maybe I need to start firing on all cylinders, going full auctioneer with them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So the one thing to push back on kind of what you said about the Titans' biggest con in DeAndre Hopkins' mind is that I think DeAndre Hopkins is the four teams we're talking about here, the Titans, the Patriots that have had visits, and the Browns and the Panthers, who we talked about this week as being in here as well. I mean, if DeAndre Hopkins goes to those teams, none of the teams are going to be favored to win the division. So they're all kind of in the same boat. But I still think the Titans have the best shot to be a division contender of any of the four. Like, I get what you're saying about the Panthers, and that's absolutely a product of the NFC South as well, because I mean, Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder, and Bryce Young. Those are your quarterbacks in the NFC South. The Titans have an opportunity with Tannehill, D-Hop, Burks, Henry, and a pretty solid defense to go win the AFC South against the Jags from a year ago. So, I don't necessarily, and then the Browns, we talked about that a lot yesterday of where they stack up. They're a fourth place team from last year, but we expect them to be better. But you still have Joe Burrow and the Bengals and Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, playoff teams from a year ago. And the Ravens had their own adversity and still got to the playoffs that they have to surpass. So I think I don't really view that as a Titan specific con.
Well, let me elaborate. Yeah. Okay. So I saw the chat saying the Panthers aren't going to a Super Bowl. Yeah, they're not, but I do think if you're looking at let's just say those four teams, I think the Panthers have the best shot of any of those four teams to make the playoffs given their division. I think that division is the most wide open because I think Tampa's going to be bad. And I think Atlanta and New Orleans are super unknown quantities right now. And Carolina has started. I mean, they still have a good defense. They've got a new head coach. They've started to build some weapons around Bryce Young, and a guy like D-Hop comes in, potentially helps that offense go to the next level and just kind of float and make the playoffs. They're not going to compete for a Super Bowl. Cleveland, I think, has the toughest division battle, right? I guess New England, but New England's out of this conversation. I don't think there's much of a draw there for Hopkins, in my opinion. Cleveland has a tough division, a tough road to the playoffs, but I think that the ceiling on the Browns is higher than any of these other teams. I think there is a world where things click in Cleveland and the Browns are legitimate playoff contenders. And that could be something that Hopkins looks at. I don't think this is a huge con for the Titans because the other teams aren't that separated in this area. But part of the reason this is my answer is because I don't really see another major con. I think the Titans have a lot of the things that D-Hop should want. You've got the targets. You've got a reliable veteran quarterback in Ryan Tannehill who will consistently throw you good footballs and throw you the football. You've got those targets. You've got a head coach that you love. You've got an offensive coordinator that you know. You've got a window to potentially win the division. But I think if he's marking something down as why not Tennessee, and you're looking for reasons why not Tennessee, it's, well, I can't win a Super Bowl in Tennessee this year. That would be the one thing I write down. I guess current situation, maybe money as well. But I think the Titans would be willing to make money available if they needed it for D-Hop.
Feels that way. Yeah.
Yeah,
it feels that way. All right. Interesting, right? So we'll see kind of how that plays out. I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow we're going to have a really fun show because all morning long is Trivia Master Sam Phelan at the controls with a Trivia Friday, all trivia, the entire show as of right now, unless news happens that we're not expecting yet. But Friday morning, that's tomorrow, June 30th at 8 a.m., an entire show of trivia only with Sam being the trivia master. 25 questions you've got.
you guys aren't ready. And I saw some comments. I'm going to do a little teaser right here.
Okay.
People said, well, make them from this century and stuff like don't, bomb. And I agree with you. I hate 1950s trivia that you're like, oh, how do you not know that? Like, that's an easy way to stump everybody. That's not fun. I'm trying to trigger some memories that you forgot you had, some names that you forgot you heard. So every question is the Tennessee Titans era of Titans football. Tennessee Titans, 1999 to current day. The Titans questions are Tennessee Titans questions, not Houston Oilers, not Tennessee Oilers, Tennessee Titans. So that's a little tease. They're going to be fire. They're going to be hard. I'm coming with the challenge. This is going to be tough on you guys. So
I'm with you. I like it.
You've got like 100 players on your team, so I got to I got to make them some.
Yeah, that's right. We get a lot of it's me and Zach with the chat versus Sam. So it's how can Sam stump us? This will be a lot of fun. So we'll do that tomorrow on a Friday, but it is time to wrap this Thursday with the Magic Bucket. Bucket time presented by Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process. Go see our friends in Lebanon with Payne Bone and his team in Lebanon up I-40 in the home of Colton Dowell right there, Lebanon, Tennessee, or check them out at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Sam, time for the Magic Bucket. You're in and Shrike says no good news tomorrow. We'll definitely probably fly in.
I have a good news that I'm itching to get off my chest. So we
can still do good news because next week is the 4th of July week and it's going to be a little bit different. So we do have content planned. So don't think we're just going to take the week off, but so we've got a lot of, but it'll be a little different week next week.
I mean, the 4th of July week coming up is good news in and of itself. Yeah. It's like it's just one of the best holidays. Everybody's got something fun going on the 4th. So it's just the best. Magic Bucket time. You or me first, Austin?
I think I went first last time, so you first this time.
Me first this time. Okay. Hopefully it's not something I got to wear tomorrow. I'm trying to be dialed in. Although Trivia Master,
that would be kind of fun.
That'd be kind of fun, yeah. All right, here we go. For me, no shot. Give a tutorial on how to tie a tie. Literally pulled this last week.
All right.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
And I'm trying to reach to the bottom.
That's ever since the Magic Bucket was created like 5 years ago. Oddly, you keep pulling the same things. It's just weird.
This one's like ripped.
It's not what we learned in elementary school with the law of probability.
This one's in like 3 pieces. I can't even read it.
Oh, well, you can trash that then.
Yeah, I don't. Here we go. I've done this one. The sexy voice into a microphone, which I also pulled 2 weeks ago.
You can just trash that too, because I think we've all done that.
All right. Oh. Here we go. We've done that. I've done that. It's a community question again.
Yeah, we need more.
Make a fart noise with your mouth.
I don't think you've done that one.
I have not done that one. What is that?
What do you mean? What is that? It's clearly you make a fart noise with your mouth. I mean, this
is so childish.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well,
you can if you want to go now, you can, or you can get ready to pull for me.
I just feel so weird doing it on camera. You gotta do it with the thumbs down. That's the best way to do a fart noise with your mouth. All right, we're moving on.
Strange fart noise from you there.
I don't like that one. That one's weird.
Oh, you're so embarrassed. Look at you.
Funny. I know people that think farts are hilarious. I think they're gross. I'm not
Yeah, farts are always funny.
Nah.
Grow up. Farts are funny.
Tell us about a recent dream you had. I think you've done this.
I have, yeah, because me and Alan Bell went around downtown Nashville watching sports in bars and betting. That was my dream I told us about.
All right. Bring back a classic, but make it simpler. Host gets to pick the puller's next dinner.
Ah, crap.
I did your lunch. I haven't done your dinner.
No,
So
well,
I
I'm
think
not
it's
letting
two
you.
different ones.
I'm not letting you pick my dinner.
Oh no!
I can eat lunch by myself. But all right, you can pick my lunch if you want. For probably not today.
I'm gonna ask the chat. Well, it says your next one. Your next one. Not today.
Today I'm literally today I'm just trying to piece together food for lunch with some meetings. So I can do tomorrow lunch.
Tomorrow lunch.
I'm booked for today lunch.
All right. Well, let's get some suggestions in the chat.
And again, remember, I am vegetarian, so I cannot go.
It does kill my vibe sometimes when I'm trying to pick right here. I'm like, well, got to account for the vegetarian stuff.
If you want to,
fun options off the table.
Yeah, but what's my lunch for Friday?
Your lunch for Friday. Should I give you something good that just comes to the top of my head?
I don't care. It's up to you.
All right, we'll go with a little. All right. I need to think of a main course because I have the side. I'm giving you a side.
I mean, you guys are giving me some really good options. Like,
this
Thai salad.
You guys think you're doing something with Thai salad, protein shake, beans. That's what Austin has for lunch every day.
That's breakfast.
You're not the Impossible Whopper I did last time. So, all right, we'll do this. It's a two-parter. I am going to make you go carb heavy if we gotta avoid the meat.
Yeah,
so
it's all good.
You're going to have macaroni and cheese in a bread bowl from Panera.
Oh God.
And your side, is salsa. You like salsa?
I do.
With El Ranchero tortilla chips. You're going to try them tomorrow. Maybe we can switch the main course if you're going to have to go do the tortilla chips because the bread bowl's very out of the way. But
I can order that. The bread bowl's not bad. Now, the hard thing is you're asking me to eat a mac and cheese bread bowl when
it's fire.
The high tomorrow is literally 109.
I did forget to account for that. Well,
the real feel sun high tomorrow is 109, and Sam's gonna make me eat a mac and cheese bread bowl. Now I can do it. It's gonna be okay because I'm gonna eat it inside.
I got this, but the real thing I'm excited for here is the side because I don't know if you saw this. I got tweeted at earlier this week by Johnny Lee, our guy Johnny, who said, Sam, you were not joking. The GOAT of all tortilla chips. He sent me a photo of his El Ranchero chips and said, tried it for the first time after your recommendation. I'm trying to tell you guys, man.
All right,
try El Ranchero. You won't go back. It's a game.
Does Panera have those?
No, but
okay. So I gotta go two places to get this lunch.
Right.
Okay.
That's why I was kind of thinking about.
I can make it work. I can make it work.
All right.
That's fine.
Right. I don't know why that came to my head, but yeah, it's a very Nick says his 11-year-old would love that meal. Yeah, that was a very.
I mean, in the when it's 30 degrees outside, sign me up all day long. But God, man, mac and cheese bread
mac
bowl.
And cheese in a bread bowl. Love it.
Do they even sell mac and cheese bread bowl in June?
Yes. Yeah, okay. They sell it. Come on now. I might go get it today now. I'm not because
don't. High. It's a little cooler today. The high is only like 96, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that works. I can do that tomorrow for lunch. That's fine. I'll live. But all right, guys. Wait, tomorrow again is going to be a really fun show. If you missed it earlier, a couple of times we talked about it. Friday is all about trivia with Sam being the trivia master, so he can stump us. It's me, Zach, and all of you in the chat versus Sam on 25 questions. That is all Friday show long. So that plus good news. We'll see you guys then. Everybody, make sure you like the show before you head out of here. Give us that thumbs up. And we greatly appreciate that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on a trivia day. Buck Rising live tonight, A to Z Sports Primetime. And we'll see you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.